Okay, we are live. Welcome to Saturday Night Gaming with Mark W. and Rob Bob. I'm your host as always, Mark W. And as usual, I have Rob Bob on the other side of my headset. Say hello, Rob Bob.
Hello.
All right, he is there. I am here. We're gonna sort of go back to our roots once again. I say sort of because the roots of this channel were Tunnels and Trolls solo adventure plays. And that's kind of what we're doing tonight. But it's actually not the same game. It is Monsters, which is sort of a variant of
Monster
Tunnel.
version.
Sorry,
Monster version.
it's the monster version of Tunnels and Trolls, where you play as the monsters. And the basic premise, not every adventure will be exactly about this, but the basic premise is, you're defending your home, which is a dungeon from these invading humans and elves and dwarves and stuff, and they're taking your treasure and killing all your friends. So you're the good guy from your point of view. I don't think this particular adventure is quite like that, but that was kind of the original premise of Monsters, and now the original edition of Monsters is from the 70s, and it was this really sparse little thing. And I read it. I read that once, but the one I have is more recent, and there was like a whole Kickstarter for this and everything. This is the what I think they call it dragon leather or something like that. I got the fancy version. Has this nice slipcase. You can slide it off and take out the book. Monsters. The thing is, this is version I believe 2 they call it, and there's a newer one that's updated called 2.5, which I also own. This is from 2020. There was a whole thing. Users were able to submit their own monsters to be played, and I regret not submitting my own. I was just really busy at the time, and I couldn't find the headspace to like be creative. But that would have been fun to be included. But nonetheless, I'm not actually going to use the physical book because I want to use the PDF of version 2.5, which I legit own as well. And I just printed some character sheets from that PDF. Here's the thing: I've never played this game, so as much as I say it's basically basically Tunnels and Trolls, but you're the monsters, there are some differences. I've flipped through the rule book, but I might need to review it a little more carefully. Actually, let's do a flipping through together. We won't do a thorough reading, and then once I feel comfortable, I'll get started. Hopefully, you guys watching will feel somewhat somewhat comfortable too. But I don't know. I don't want to kind of cover everything from the ground up. To me, from my point of view, it's I want to learn the minimum, you know, stuff that's extra, like on top of the basic Tunnels and Trolls rules that I know and love. What do I need to learn just to get started with monsters? So, oh, by the way, this particular adventure that you see before you is called Jungle Jeopardy, and this was I think released this year. We can go into the intro and stuff more once we finish going over the monsters rules. I bought the hard copy of this from Drive Through RPG. Yeah, this was published July 2023, which is brand spanking new in my view, even though it's really over a year old. Yeah, and so my basic understanding of this scenario is there's some demon lord who needs I don't know, he needs you to gather certain creatures for him, which I can only assume is for nefarious purposes, and he sends his sister, who I think is this one here, to be your guide or something like that. There's a lot of in these Tunnels and Trolls adventures. There's several different books in which there's like a rock troll or a rock demon or whatever is your acting as your guide. There's one in which Grim Tina is your guide, or I think you're supposed to be her guide. Grim Tina is I think, sister of or daughter of the infamous Grimtooth. Grimtooth's Traps is kind of a famous book of RPG traps that are they're like generic purpose. Anyway, let's not go on a million different tangents. I got my overhead cam view ready to go so you can see the dice rolls in in fun 1080p. I got some character sheets printed out. They're pretty basic. I also have there's one page in the PDF for kind of generic monster types if you want to copy and tape one of these or cut and paste, whatever you want to say, one of these as your character portrait, you can do that. I might literally do that just for the fun of it. I actually have some tape and scissors ready. But I'll let you guys in the chat also chime in for decisions that we make as far as character creation and once we're actually into the game. This one can be a lich, an undead, or a zombie. That seems pretty versatile. Balrog. That may look familiar too, because it looks a lot like the Lord of the Rings Balrog from the movies, especially. But yeah, Balrog is kind of a they don't want to use any official names, but it's basically a Balrog. He's a stone troll, and some poor adventurer trying to hack it up with a sword. I don't know. I don't think swords would work too well against solid rock. Maybe you want something like a mighty hammer, mighty warhammer. And here's the Maladorian. I think he's smoking a cigar. That's just a duck person. There's a weird tradition in old school RPGs, not in all of them, only a couple of them, where you can play as playable duck character. Actually, it's probably only like RuneQuest in this one. RuneQuest was famous for duck racing. I don't know why they had that. I think I heard of a special, like a certain more recent RPG that centers around playing as duck characters too. I don't get it, but that's
like Donald Duck.
He looks like an angry Donald Duck with a cigar and some like chainmail and I don't know what he's got. Well, he's actually got like plate armor or something. I don't know. Anyway, let's try to get into the rules. We're starting quite later than I'd like. It's just kind of, usual excuses, life, but this setup here, this what you see before you, it takes a lot of time to set up and effort. Sometimes, I've done it before, so it's not that hard in a sense, but there's always like one or two things that go wrong. And today it was this overhead camera being a pain because I use a special website called vdo.ninja that will feed the video over the internet to your OBS, or more like your OBS queries that, like pulls from that. And I had to get this phone that I'm using as a camera to draw internet from the computer it's connected to, and that was something that wasn't working well initially. Because if you use the Wi-Fi, it can be spotty. Anyway, nobody cares about that. So let's get into the manual. And here it is. Let's put aside that. So here we are. Monsters, Ken St. Andre's Monsters, RPG Rules 2.5 edition. Take a walk on the wild side. That's the tagline down here. Here there be monsters, and you are one of them. In 1976, Ken St. Andre invented the first role-playing game that allowed players to create and run adventures as monsters of various types, from gremlins to dragons. Excuse me, now over 40 years later, Ken returns to his classic RPG, updating and enhancing it with new concepts, new monsters, and new powers, plus a brand new 26-page GM adventure. Do I have my drawing tool on, by the way? I like to have that on. I do. The time has come for you to join the monsters in their dark caverns, hidden lairs, and ruined cities of bygone empires. It's time for you to roll up a creature and play. Monsters includes rules, spells, bestiary, weapons, armor, and a large GM adventure for solo or group play. And here's little, they call them standees. You could use these kind of in place of miniatures. Generally Tunnels and Trolls doesn't really need miniatures, but you can use them. Sometimes it's good just to have figures like on a map just to have a general idea of where things are happening. But with the core TNT rules, it's not like tactical combat where I move this guy one space and this guy moves two spaces and blocks that guy. It's not really like that. Or you could kind of fudge it to work that way if you wanted to, but it doesn't really need that. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, again, I don't really have the time to kind of really peruse this live, but so I'm just going to flip through it and take note of things that catch my eye that I think it's important to know. And probably the first important thing to know is in this game, you'll be playing the monsters. It's only natural that the monsters should come out of their tunnels and dungeons to strike back at the smug world of humans, elves, dwarves, hobbits, etc., who had been so greedily despoiling their homes and treasure. They are tired of having their pesky human types breaking into their lairs, and they are going to take the fight out of the caves and up on the towns and villages in the human realm. On playing a monster, there's a huge variety of monsters you can play. Yes, you can play like, things that are kind of basically humanoid, but generally considered, monsters like trolls, or we can play like Griffin the Dragon, and there's even like rules to play, weirdo stuff that, I don't know how you're supposed to play them in a real RPG tonight, like, kind of like giant slimes or something. Like, does that thing even have a brain? um, yeah, slime mutant's one of them. Anyway, what's the monster's motivation? You don't have character classes, which is different. You don't pick warrior, wizard, or rogue like you do in TNT. All monsters fight and some can cast spells, but every monster has a kindred. By the way, we're going back up here quickly. These attributes I'm kind of glossing over because they're exactly the same as in TNT. And you roll 3 dice for each of them. You got 4 physical attributes: strength, constitution, dexterity, and speed. 4 mental attributes: intelligence, luck, wisdom, and charisma. So, yeah, it was worth a mention, basically. But I'm not going to dwell on that. You can kind of guess what those are mostly. They have some fast start kindreds, as they call them. I guess if you just want to start the game fast, you can pick these basic ones, which would probably be fine to choose from. We got forest or jungle trolls. Jungle troll might be appropriate for this jungle themed adventure. It also includes pre-made characters, so I could just pick one of those from the adventure. And maybe I'll do that just so we don't really have to get into character creation too much. But as you can see, one thing they changed here is in TNT it was always crazy with the stats. You used multipliers. You would if you're a dwarf, you double your strength and constitution as an example. So if you rolled a really solid 16, that becomes a 32, and everything was a multiplier. If you're a fairy, your strength is reduced by 4, so you multiply by a quarter. It looks like they decided to go with adding and subtracting. So an Uruk only subtracts 2 from IQ instead of a major penalty like having it. I kind of always like the ridiculous numbers of TNT, even though they're maybe not like, balanced or anything. But some of these numbers are ridiculous too, though. Like, look at this one. You add 20 points to strength and con. And Stu is in the house. Hello, Stu. Says, what do you have against fairies? Oh, nothing. I am totally all for fairies. Anyway, other fast start guys kindreds we have are serpents, uruks, gremlins, and zim. Zim are orge-like beings of Zimral. I guess ogre. Orge. Everyone of these has a special ability, by the way. All right. Here's an example character. Drilik Sa, the Serpent Man. And this what you see right here is kind of in line with the way the way TNT has usually worked is try to just use like a little basic card if you can. That's kind of what they do, but at the same time they give you a fuller character sheet that's like 8.5 by 11. So, usually you can just get by with something little like this, though, unless your character gets really advanced and they start accumulating a lot of spells and equipment and stuff, and then eventually they outgrow a card. But I don't know, I have this full 8.5 by 11 sheet that I'll use. Anyway, again, we're just kind of skimming through this. The combat, I've looked through that, and that's basically the same. There's one, to me, kind of a strange change, which I could always ignore it if I choose to, but I guess I'll go with it, and that is spite. So in TNT, there's this rule that for every 6 there's a little nuance to it, but essentially every 6 you roll on a die in combat, and you're rolling a lot of dice in combat, is just an automatic damage that gets through, even if you lose the combat round. For some reason, in Monsters, they changed that 6 to a 1, just to be confusing. I don't know. But, you could always play it your way if you want. I just don't really get why they would make that change. Anyway, they did change the way missile combat works. And it's monsters or characters using monster or mankind ratings always hit any targets larger than small, i.e. bigger than a bread box, and do their damage. Monsters with attributes are good shots, but must always make level 2 save roll on dex to hit a moving target and a level 1 to hit a stationary one. So they simplified missile combat. There was a chart you had to look up before, which you cross-referenced size of the target and the distance. They just tried to make it much simpler here, basically. And it's always assumed that you hit any target at point blank range, and you always miss anything that's really far away. I find missile combat tends to rarely come up in solo adventure, so it might not actually matter, but we'll see. Armor, that works basically the same. You know, it soaks up the difference. If you have 2 points of armor and in the combat roll the opponent beats you by 3, then you subtract 2 from that 3 and you take 1 damage. That's the gist of it. Surprise attacks. Yeah, you know, you don't. There's not like a mechanical thing in the game. There's not a mechanic for how surprise happens. It would be the story would tell you that. It would say like you surprise him, so roll surprise damage, and that just basically means you roll all your dice for damage, and the opponent doesn't fight back. So in this example, this guy surprised a spider and rolled a 1, 1, 2, 4 on his 4 dice, plus it adds a 15, which added up to 23. So he automatically did 23 damage. Now, if you remember in Tunnels and Trolls, there's this concept of monster ratings. You fight monsters, and many of them are kind of very simple. Like some monsters are more robust, but many of them are they just boil down to a single number called the MR. And the way that works in Tunnels and Trolls is, say the monster has MR of 24. That means that it's 24 hit points, and its adds for combat are half that, so 12. And the number of dice it rolls is it sounds complicated when you say it. Divide by 10, drop the remainder, add 1. So if you had 24 MR, you roll 3 dice. All it means is like just kind of lop off that last digit and add 1, and that's how many dice they roll. They could have made it even simpler by not having to add 1, perhaps, but I don't know. That's how it is. But here's an interesting thing. Because you're fighting like humans and stuff more often in this game, MR also stands for mankind rating now. So if I'm fighting a peasant or something, peasants, farmer, tradespeople, they don't have a full set of attributes. The less robust humankind people that I fight have a mankind rating. That's what MR means in that case. It's convenient because they can keep calling it MR, but it just means something else because it's not a monster you're fighting. But you know, sometimes they will give you an MR, and you know they can gussy it up a little, add some extra stuff like, you know, this guy he's an MR creature, but you know he has some armor or whatever. They could do that. Monster rating for the players. I'm not sure quite what this is about. Oh, okay. So sometimes you convert your attributes to MR when you want to go into beast mode. So that's a special thing you can do. You can go into beast mode. And that is a sort of frenzied combat where you convert into MR. I'm not quite sure why we do that. And you attack twice every combat round. This sounds great, but like everything in reality, there is no free lunch. The first round in beast mode will cost 4 points of MR. The second costs 8, the third 16, and so on. So you exponentially damage yourself as you're in beast mode. And plus, you can't leave beast mode. I read about this before, and it sounded a little bit extreme. You either fall unconscious when your MR goes to 0, or there has to be no one, friend or enemy, within 20 feet. And that sounds like you would have to kill your friends. I don't know. It's maybe they could just run away. I don't know. I'm not sure how that would play out in a solo adventure when I have a demoness guide, but I have to like attack her. It's possible the solo adventure doesn't really cover that case. How to be a better monster. Yeah, saving rolls work exactly the same as in TNT, so I'm not gonna worry about that. And you have the wonderful Darrow rule as always, which is doubles add and roll over. And that kind of I kind of always love that because it gives you this kind of ability to gradually climb, like, and reach an impossible feat if you're lucky. And it's something about it not being reduced to like one single roll. Like, you know, if you play D&D, okay, you need a 20 to hit. It's a 5% chance. But in this game, it would be something like you need a really high roll on 2 dice, like 18. But, oh, I rolled double. I rolled a 2 and a 2. That's a 4. Oh, I rolled a 3 and a 3 now. And then gradually you climb to that 18 when you get really lucky. And that's a lot of fun. Anyway, they have a nice example about Grunhark the Gremlin attempting to booby trap a treasure chest, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I know that mechanic. So again, for those who just joined, I'm not trying to go over the rules in its entirety. I'm just kind of skimming through it and trying to kind of personally absorb what's new in Monsters relative to TNT, just so I can learn whatever I need to start the game. Stunts and stunting. This is something that was always an unofficial rule in TNT, and it's now an official thing, which is nice. Because there's been so many times where people play TNT and they're like, what am I supposed to do? I keep running into these monsters that are just kind of instantly killing me. And stunting is basically you make up some trick you can pull off. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna die. What do I do? Well, actually, I can give you one perfect example of what I did in one of my past videos of TNT. Was I was being attacked by 3 vampire women after I had killed their master or something like that. And I guess in this world, the master's death doesn't mean all their servants die. I don't know, whatever it was. And I had killed him with a wooden dagger that, for whatever reason, dropped to the ground. And then these 3 vampire women came across the room, and I was looking at the math. I had to fight them, right? Looking at the math, and I had no chance. Essentially, 3 of them would outmath me. So I made up in the moment. Well, I have this wooden dagger right here. How about while they're walking across the room to engage me in combat, I pick one up and flip it at them, and try to stab them in the heart with that wooden dagger. And you got to be judicious. Don't make it an easy roll. And I made it a pretty hard roll, and I was lucky. I rolled, whatever. I think I made it a level 3 saving roll on dexterity, and I happened to make the roll. I said, all right, I automatically killed one of them, but now I have to engage the other 2. And then it was kind of a back and forth, a lot of damage being taken, and I came out on top, and it felt satisfying. But that's pretty much what it is. Just make up stuff, assign a saving roll. If you're playing a solo game, you got to be fair. Don't be cheap. But if you're playing the real RPG style, the GM will have to make up that saving roll for you, as well as the consequences of pass or fail. And M is in the house. M says, I love the idea of playing a monster, but Monsters feels like it needs some refinement. Now, TNT, that's a well-developed game. Oh, okay, fair enough. This is my first time trying it. I am kind of expecting it to mostly feel just like TNT, except to have a kind of a special monster ability. But I guess it depends on the adventures you play too. I guess the adventures would be written more towards like you're invading a village or something, doing evil deeds, whereas TNT is more like the standard RPG stuff. Hey, we'll see how it is. I'll see if I like it.
It's reverse invading a village.
Reverse invading a village.
Like you're invading a monster village, kinda like a dungeon.
Right, yeah. Stu says, I have no idea what this is, but I was hoping you would stream tonight, Mark. It's some game book. I get it. Sure, I'm sure it's fine. Okay. So yeah, this is Monsters, which is, again, it is like playing Tunnels and Trolls, but you are the monsters essentially. And here's the actual thing now. They're Ken St. Andre and Steve Crompton et al. Are they're focused on this because they sold Tunnels and Trolls to another party, and they're working on it, but we don't know what's going to happen with that. So actually, one thing is kind of crazy. They sold it to one company called WebSphere or something like that, and they sat on the IP for like 2 or 3 years. Nothing happened. Then they resold it to another company called Rebellion, and now Rebellion says they are making something happen, and they're doing like a revamping of it, which a lot of the old guard or old farts like me are like, don't revamp it. No, I'd actually be open to a revamping if they do a good job. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, back to flipping through the manual. Yeah, here's a really basic equipment list: weapons, armor, general supplies. It's a lot simpler than what the deluxe Tunnels and Trolls manual has. There's pages and pages of equipment in that game. And here we have something that's new: the chaos factor. It is an optional rule. And this is a picture I remember from the Leprechaun spell book, which is kind of an optional thing you can do to have special Leprechaun spells for your Leprechaun characters. And M says the cobwebs orb. Excuse me. All right. So what is this about? This is like the one thing I'm not really sure what it is at all. But monsters, on the other hand, are either reshaping the world or breaking the world. They tap into what we call the chaos factor, which represents the forces in nature that spread misfortune, bad luck, and ill omens throughout the land. Okay. What is it? Monster kindreds bring chaos to the land, as well as uncertainty, doubt, fear, and terror. This doesn't mean anything in regards to alignment or personal philosophy or guiding principle, just extra hit points. Okay. To learn spellcasting, monsters have to permanently lose their primal connection to chaos energy. Non-magic using monsters have a chaos factor equal to their level. All right, I'm probably going to start as non-magic just because that seems like the tradition when you're a newbie. You play as the warriors. I could probably handle it, but let's do that anyway. This chaos factor allows them to change the total of any dice roll by that number of points, either up or down. Okay. So if I'm level 2, let's say, and I roll a 7, I can make that a 9 or a 5 or a 6 or an 8, I guess. They can do this every time the GM calls for one of the players or NPCs to roll dice, but only once per turn. This can work for either combat rolls or saving rolls, but not both in the same turn. It seems quite powerful still. One monster gets one effect per turn. That sounds good though. I mean, this game is, at least TNT is infamous for being super deadly, so that might not be the worst. Because my initial reaction was, wow, that could be crazy. I mean, hey, that's not terrible. And they're giving it a really absurd example. They could have started smaller, but they're saying Smog. Oh, reference to Smog, get it? But they spell it funny. Smog, the dragon, is a level 50 monster. When he attacks with Flame Breath, he would roll 50 dice and add his combat as if he had wished. He could add another 50 points of damage. Let's see. Already could see that some hero was aiming at his one vulnerable spot and declared that he would decrease the hero's die roll, if possible, just enough to make it come up as a 3, a 1, and a 2, which is a critical fumble. Jesus. I was thinking maybe the critical fumble would be like a sacred thing, that only a natural roll would count for that. But it sounds like in this example, the hero could roll a 53. Then Samag goes, nope, that's a 3, critical fumble. All right. All right, well, that is what it is, I guess. Okay, let's gloss over that. Magic. Yeah, it says that you can skip this if you're not playing as a magic character. I guess I should learn a little bit about it, though. You use Lumen Energy, which is Wiz, Intelligence, and Dexterity. That sounds the same so far. Sometimes casting a spell will deplete another attribute by the same amount as it depletes Wiz. For example, Aurochs lose Strength when they cast magic, and are mostly unaware that they even have a Wiz attribute. Okay. Alright, I guess I'll skip over that and not play as a wizard. Alright, here's the spell book, and some of these weapons are similar to those. Some of these spells are similar to those in Tunnels and Trolls, but some of them have renames. Like instead of "Take that, you fiend," we have "Take that, you fool." Because I guess that's how a villain would speak. The hero goes, "Take that, you fiend," and the villain goes, "Take that, you fool." And there's a lot of things with like that, lock that, open that. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we're bad about our th phonics as monsters, I guess. Smoke them if you got them. Shade my eyes. Get out of here. Turtle feet, Odred. That'll teach you. Whack a Dwan? What's a Dwan? Whack a Dwan. Oh, here we go. Dwans are. Sorry?
Are these versions of spells in Tunnels and Trolls?
Right. I don't know if there's a one-to-one correspondence for all of them, but "Take that, you fool" is definitely a "Take that, you fiend" counterpart, essentially. Anyway, no need to read all these. This is probably like the majority of the book. Because it's not really a very thick instruction manual. A majority would be a strong word, but it was several pages. All right, so here is the modifier table. Okay, so they do have. All right, I was wrong before. Remember earlier I said they don't have multipliers anymore, only additions. I think that was just for the sample types you could play. This is kind of a theme I've seen in recent years from these dudes. Is they'll have a simpler version of the characters you can choose from that use addition rather than these crazy multipliers. And these are crazy crazy multipliers. If you want to play as a Balrog, you would multiply your strength roll and your constitution roll by 20 and your charisma by 5, etc. And by the way, charisma works differently for monsters. There's like different types of them. Like, you think of charisma as a human-like character. That when do you use that? Well, you're negotiating with someone as a storekeeper, or you're trying to convince someone of something, persuade them, or intimidate someone. If you're a monster, it's kind of more like, well, it has a different icon for each kind of charisma. Like the Balrog has a skull, which means terror. It's terror charisma. So it's how you affect others, your charisma, but it manifests in different ways depending on if you're a monster, basically. So this is the basic rundown at your stat multipliers and the kind of like 1 or 2 words for the special power that they have. So this could be like a handy reference, I guess. But it goes on. Wow. Oh, those are the humanoid monsters. Now we're getting to non-humanoid stuff, which is the weirdo stuff. And again, I was kind of wishing I could have made my own monster to submit, but oh well. Opportunity missed. I mean, I totally had the chance. It's just I was like all busy in life at the time, so I didn't really prioritize. Anyway, it could be a nice giant slug. Some of these monsters, you're like, how would they function in like an environment where they have to like travel through a location and use their intelligence and make decisions? I guess they're not all dumb though. No, they're not all dumb as a giant slug. You'd think a zombie's probably pretty dumb though. They only have half the intelligence penalty though. Anyway, it can be a Shoggoth, which is basically a Shoggoth, which we've seen recently on this channel. I know Stu was there when we were playing at the Mountains of Madness. I kept getting killed by Shoggoths. So you can play one in this game. Shoggoth is a creature from the Lovecraft mythos, like Cthulhu and all them. And they show up in the story at the Mountains of Madness. They're like these kind of amorphous blobs that they apparently move like a subway train. They're described as that, and they have all these. They kind of reshape themselves to form tentacles and eyeballs and everything they need on the fly as they're rolling around like a subway car, eating everything in its path. I think this is a picture of one, perhaps, down here.
Okay.
And all Stu remembers are the naked vampires. Were there naked vampires in that game? Oh, that must have been a different one. Oh, I think I know what you mean. We found... Okay, yeah. Anyway, here's the monsters in detail. We can just flip through this. Now, again, I think I'm just going to pick one of the pre-mades from the adventure. And, oh, yeah, I got you. Stu's talking about a board game I played where the family is in the snowy region and their car breaks down. Yeah, me and Rob Bob are playing that. It's like a horror board game. That. Yeah, so with the insanely varied modifiers, I think it would be really hard to get the balance right in this game, but I'll just choose one of the pre-mades for this adventure. But let's just flip through the monsters. You got your Balrog, Basilisk, Bat Troll, Chomp Chala, a mutated version of the Chala cactus. Okay. The cactus monster. Centaur, Chain Beast, Chimera, Dragon. Oh, what's a dragon? I never heard that one. Demon, Serpent Men. Should be singular, shouldn't it? Anyway, Direwolf, Dirtle Demon. No, Purple Demon. What is it? Dirtle or Purple? I guess it's Dirtle.
Turtle.
About the size of a chimpanzee that uses circular openings to ambush its prey. Okay. Field Fiend. This is a Gak. Ghast, Giant Slug. Goblin, Gorgon, a Garg, which is a gargoyle. Gremlin, Human. Human. Human is a monster.
You can be.
That's like the old like Twilight Zone thing. Human was man was the worst monster all along. Griffin, Harpy, Hydra, Lamia, Hopperman Toadster. This monster is sort of a fusion of Doberman Pinscher and Bullfrog, having the body like a dog and the head like a toad. Frogger, living skeleton, living statue. Malardorian, Minotaur, Merperson, Mind Leech, Mummy, Night Gaunt. Obsidian Spider, Quicksilver, a living mercury metallic creature. It holds itself into a blob while alive. Oozkin, Ratling, Shogox, Sphinx Troll, another kind of troll. Oh, Flesh Troll, Stone Troll. Sphinx, Stingaree, Unicorn, Uruk, Were Creatures, Yeti, Zombies, Vampire. Alright, that's it. And here it gets right into a GM adventure you can play by Stephen Jones and Ken St. Andre. He's also been working on RPGs forever, not just TNT and Monsters. He's done some GURP stuff and other things. I think my brother used to know him in person, actually. All right. Right. Why don't we get into the game? You know, it's already getting late. So I think I'm gonna pick one of the pre-mades, as I said, and let's put this preview window aside. Put back on our forward camera. Decide what we're gonna do. What we're gonna do is we're gonna open the book. Sorry, I'm gonna make some adjustments. We'll call that good enough. Jungle Jeopardy. Do, 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 do. By the way, this is written by Ken St. Andre, based on an idea by Steve Crompton, cover and illustrations by Steve Crompton and Seppo McKinnon, layout and graphics by Steve Crompton, published by Trollhalla Press. Yeah, basically everything TNT adjacent is under Trollhalla Press, and everything actual TNT and other former Flying Buffalo IP is currently at Rebellion, is my understanding, but I don't know all of the details. All right, they have 2 ways to play this solo. The easy way and the hard way. We could do this the easy way. Okay, easy way. Sorry, I'm like, what? Why would it say it here and not in the main menu? I don't know. Whatever. I'm trying to think of just. Okay. In the corner, it says you play using monsters. I think I'm just going to do that rather than their easy way or whatever. Which I think is they're just kind of making up a very small set of rules and trying to cram it on one page. Oh, they're saying you do stuff like, rather than using the monsters rules, you do stuff like resolve a combat with a 6-sided die, or you flip a coin. 1 to 3 you failed to hit. 4 to 6 you hit. Okay, it's like a totally alternate set of rules where you're just like relying on 50-50 odds or something. Okay, so it starts right there, but I thought there were pre-mades. I heard maybe they're in the back. Okay, or if they're not, oh, here we go. No, these are not characters you play. These are people you encounter. Okay, bear with me a minute. I just flipped through this. I'm not really trying to present to the camera at the moment. I'm just trying to find where the heck I can find these pre-mades. Here we go. All right. So, sample characters. All right, up here it says, although this is a simple adventure that only uses the basic monsters characters, it is not really a beginning adventure. Okay, you're advised to bring characters that are relatively tough. I'm offering 2 such sample characters here. I suspect they will seem overpowered to you in some parts of the adventure and underpowered in others. Ha! That's life for most people. Okay. The world doesn't balance out challenge and ability. Fate does not play fair. Okay. That's just the excuse for the game not being balanced. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So I can play as a Zim troll. And they give me the stats for that. Type warrior. I thought they didn't have character classes in this game. Okay, but it says type warrior specialist. Okay, and here's a young troll you can play as with type warrior, which contradicts the manual again. I don't know what to do with that. I guess I could ignore it. All right, so I guess I could choose one of these two. It could be a young troll or a Zim troll. Let's go through it. The Zim troll has strength 42, constitution 32, dexterity 35, speed 9, intelligence 10, luck 19, wizardry 12, charisma 16, combat aid 60. Talents. It has 3, but talents are not used in this adventure. Now I'm wondering, did the Monster Manual even mention talents? Or are they letting TNT creep in? Oh, okay. The special abilities of monsters kind of replace talents, is my understanding. But it's kind of weird that it says it has 3 then here. All right, I don't know. Anyway, but it says talents are not used, so I won't worry about it. Ability is rapid regeneration. When wounded, the Zim gain 1/10 of their original con back each combat round. That sounds pretty nice. Ah, sorry about that. Going for a ride when you're watching these game book streams.
Driving?
Sorry?
You're driving?
Yeah, I'm driving. Going for a ride. Weapons: a Zim Great Spear, 8 dice, 12 feet long, obsidian blade. Requires 2 hands. No problem for the Zim. No problem. Zim have 4 hands. Also a granite maul, 5 dice plus 50. Another 2-handed weapon, usually slung on the warrior's back. The maul requires 40 strength to wield and only does smashing damage. Is there a distinction of type?
Does.
Sorry? I can't hear you.
Oh, no. Never mind.
Okay.
I thought it was saying the spear does smashing damage.
No, the maul does.
Yeah.
Neither weapon requires more than 8 dex to use. Languages: Zim and Hellspeak. Like Invader Zim? I just realized that. And here we have the young troll. They have relative attributes compared to each other. Young troll is stronger, has more constitution, much less dexterity. Actually, it has much more con, though. Look at that. And pretty good amounts stronger. Speed, also 9. They don't have good speed, either of them. Intelligence and luck are kind of in the same ballpark. Kind of meh. I mean, luck is okay-ish. Wiz is meh. Charisma extremely high. I guess they're more fearsome or something. Talents, he gets 5, but what? Sorry, I'm so... What? Oh, why would it be written like this? They have 5, but there's no talents. And there's also no talents in the Monster Manual. And M says, love the different abilities of the monsters. I always felt this was something that would have been a good addition to TNT, which the addition of skills has largely addressed. Yeah, and, leprechauns have their own innate ability, but they should give more innate abilities. Actually, humans have their own innate ability. They have the doubling of well, not doubling, but they can reroll saving rolls. Anyway, Trollish regeneration gains 7 points of con back each combat turn. That's better than the 10%. Well, for him, it's about a wash. But I mean, the 10% for this guy who'd be getting like 3 every turn. Armor none. 7 points for rock-like skin, though. All right. Weapon Trollish Warhammer. Worth 15 dice plus 9. I'm gonna be rolling a lot of dice in this game. Hey, it's TNT. I mean, this guy definitely seems stronger unless I'm pretty much all around, unless except for where dexterity figures in. That's the only thing. Now, if this is an adventure through the jungle, it could very well be inspired by like Tarzan or something, and maybe I'll be swinging from vines and things and be needing to make dexterity rolls. And all in all, sorry, this one does have slightly lower ads because the dexterity is that much lower. But I don't know, I'm kind of drawn to the big guy anyway. Although I don't know about rolling 15 dice. That's kind of where it gets, I think like above like 10 or 12 is just when it gets a little too insane for my taste. And he's almost as big as Astaroth, which I think is the demon who's hiring me or something. All right, so anybody in the chat has a preference of which character I should choose, feel free to recommend one. Otherwise, I'll just go by my gut. What do you think, Rob? Any suggestions?
What was the one with the 59 strength? Because the stats look good.
The young troll? Okay, let's go with the young troll.
Yeah.
All right, so we can write our own character sheet up here. It's not going to be a whole lot to write. I don't think. I can always refer to the manual even. But let's swap out to the overhead view. That's not the one. All right, this is where we scroll. You can watch me scroll. I could make a picture of this young troll. What's his name going to be? His name is going to be Guitar. Kindred. Okay, his kindred is young troll. I was wondering if he's just a troll who happens to be young. But that's actually the name of his kindred, apparently. Ability. I gotta cram it in here. 7-point con regen per turn, I guess. It doesn't give me height and weight. It probably doesn't matter. Those things rarely matter. I'll say I'm male. I'm level 7. Now this uses the same rule as TNT to determine your level. You look at your highest attribute, which in this case it's con of 74. Essentially divide by 10, drop the remainder. That's your level. So he's level 7 because of it. Level 7 because of his high constitution. Money. Did it say anything about money? Guess I don't have money. Hair. I'm gonna go with purple mohawk. Purple mohawk. Okay. This camera looks a little fuzzy, doesn't it? Oh well. We'll have to deal. It's not really a big deal. His age is how old do these guys tend to be? I don't know. I'll leave that blank in case it actually matters later.
His age is young.
Oh yeah. What's young for a troll? Let's go with 7 to match the level. The 7-year-old troll. 74, 13, speed 9, character 51, charisma 51, with 8, luck 17, intelligence 13. All right. Monster combat edge. They are 53. Attribute total. This is the total of all 8 of your attributes and is sometimes used in specialized combat situations. All right, let's add them up. 76 plus 7. Oh, God. I need my calculator. No, 76 plus 74 would be 150. Plus 13 is 163. Plus 13 is 176. Plus 8 is 184. Plus 9 is 193. Plus 51 is 244. I guess it's if I'm off by 1 or 2, I'm not gonna sweat it. Now you know I can I can pass basic arithmetic class. Adventure points, I guess I got none right now. Weapons and armor. I have a trollish warhammer. And that, I guess it's two-handed probably. 15 dice plus 9. I speak hell speak and trollish. There's no place for language on the character sheet. I don't know if this will ever matter. I mean, it can. I've played TNT solos where your languages do matter, but I had a close encounter with a Naga in adventure. I had to know snake language to speak to her, and it's actually quite a funny thing. I have a video of this. I was playing this adventure, and I just kind of deferred language rolling because I rarely use them, and I just wanted to get going. I said, if I need languages, I'll just roll it on the fly. And so the game prompted me, do you have a snake language or something like that? And I was like, well, I guess I have to roll now. And I look at the chart, and there's a 1% chance of getting it. What do I roll? I rolled that. It's on camera and everything. I rolled the whatever I needed exactly, 74 or something like that. Anyway, that was hilarious, and I love when good moments like that happen with dice. That's why dice are fun. They sometimes just kind of blow you away, blow away your expectations. Anyway, Monster Bio. Well, he's a young and ambitious troll. Hopes to one day enslave all of humanity. And also hates elves, but doesn't want them for slaves. Them for slaves because elves are pompous and annoying. All right, there we go. I don't know. I don't even know if you can even read my chicken scratch. A young, ambitious, hopes to one day enslave all of humanity, and also hates elves, but doesn't want them for slaves because elves are pompous and annoying. There we go. Spells and powers. I guess that's basically it. Why don't we jump into the game? Finally. All right. Boop boop boo loop boop boop boo. Where's my preview? That's gone. Overhead. Sorry, we just want to put that aside. Okay. All right, let's get into the jungle Jeopardy adventure. Cue the Jeopardy theme, right?
Jungle Jeopardy.
You know the Jeopardy theme, Rob Bob?
Yeah.
What's that?
I said yeah.
Can you sing it for us? You don't have to do it. All right, very good, very good. Susan, I'll take lunar shuttle accidents for 200. Sounds like one of those early lunar lander games. All you have are accidents in those. All right. Here we go. Paragraph 0. Let's rock and or roll. Oh, it's from Airplane 2. Okay. I've never seen Airplane 2, only the first one. I love the first one. I think I heard bad things about the second, so I didn't bother. Anyway, somewhere under a mountain in the deep jungles of the supercontinent of Zimrala lies the hidden citadel of Astaroth. That's such a generic fantasy name. I like it. It reminds me of Azeroth in Warcraft. I have a thing where anytime you have a location of a fantasy name, it has to end in something like oth or ra or like Astaror. It could have been Astalor or Azeroth. Oth, a lot of Oths. One of the great lords, which is kind of like why I like how Tunnels and Trolls just has Troll World. It's just totally whimsical and silly Troll World. Anyway, that's one of the great lords, Astaroth, who relocated to Zimrala. Above is a land of swamps, jungles, grasslands, and in the distant south are hills and mountains as rugged as any on the planet. Inside the mountain, on a lake of fire, Astaroth and his followers make their dark plans. Over the last century, Astaroth has been expanding his power by enlisting as many of the native species and monstrous newcomers as he can. He controls about 1,000 Zim, a score of flesh demons, 500 of the Rareki, and assorted other misfits and monsters. His fortress is well protected, and this Lord of Hell rules over 5,000 lesser demons and uncounted other creatures of evil. Excuse me. You know what I should do? I should post this link right now on the Facebook group for this. Let me do that. Maybe we'll have a big party here.
Let me go to the bathroom real quick.
And Bob's going to the bathroom quick. All right, so bear with me a minute. I'm going to share this. In case anyone's interested. All right, in case anyone's interested, I'm doing this live right now. Unless you see this after the fact, in which case, it's not right now anymore. All right. Advertising done on the fly. All right. So Rob Bob can miss some of this story. He's probably not going to miss anything important. We can fill him in on the really important stuff about Astaroth and his fiery demons and the exact population of demons he has. Although he is popular and well known to the evil overlords of northeastern Zimrala, Astaroth is not universally loved. Oh, who would not universally love, a powerful demon? And Stu says, in the age of chaos, two factions battled for dominance. The kingdom of Astaroth was a prosperous one. All right, etc., etc. Then came the orcish hordes. But back to Zimrala. Although he's not universally loved, he has enemies by the thousands, especially among the Egyptos. I wonder who those people represent. And all of those species who follow and worship the old Egyptian or Greek gods. The Dwan fear and loathe him in Las Vegas, for they knew him as a cruel master back when they lived in hell. Back when I used to live in hell, he was a mean guy. The intelligent spiders. I love how they casually mention. It's pretty funny. Casually, the intelligent spiders weren't big fans. Rob Bob is back. Where were we? Intelligent spiders. I'm gonna try to read the rest of this, but without interrupting myself. All right. The intelligent spiders see him as a rival, and they see his minions as food. Although Astaroth is a wizard, he is not a god wizard. He needs alliances and guards to protect his domain from enemies within and without. In fact, being an Astaroth guard is considered a plum position among mercenaries of many monster species. Surviving for a year as an Astaroth guard is a sure way to make one's reputation among mercenaries and adventurers of the world. I guess that's what I'm doing then. I'm an Astaroth guard. This adventure for warrior characters. We don't have character types, it said in the monster manual, but I'll just roll with it. This is an adventure for warrior characters of any roughly humanoid species. You as a player may either bring in your own character or use one or two that we have provided. True it is that the demon lord hires some wizards, but he does not use them as guards for his castle and dungeons. Although you may use magical items, your character will not be one that can cast any magical spells. Demons respect strength much more than they respect magic. and so sorcery is discouraged in demonic holdings. Not entirely absent, of course, but discouraged and often avoided for more physical ways of doing things. After all, why use magic to destroy a creature when you could simply rip its head off? That's a demonic way of thinking. Feel free to bring in your own weapons and equipment for the adventure, but don't worry about money. You will not need it as an Astaroth guard. When you're ready to begin play, turn to paragraph 1 and let's take a look at this picture and the caption. Under a mountain lies the hidden citadel of Astaroth, the archdemon, and his sister Ash- Ashsara. This is where your adventure begins. All right, my ceiling fan is making it a little chilly in here, so I'm going to turn that off and be right back. That was fast. All right. You are one of Astaroth's guards. You've had the job for about a year. It pays well, has good benefits. And you're halfway through your contracted term of duty. You've had some adventures here at Heltarak, as you call it. Why do I call it that? Sorry, I'm still trying to get this camera to not look like it's at a weird angle. It's probably a little better.
It's you. You're the only person who calls it that.
Yeah, I don't know. You had some adventures here at Heltarak, as you call it. Actually, it's not all that hellish. There is plenty of laughter, but a great deal of it is malicious. Ha ha! Laughing at humans being murdered, I guess. You've had some adventures. There was that time you got caught in the slime devil pit at feeding time. And the time you were surprised in the act by a hairy eyeball. But you survived. That's saying a lot in a place where the new guard's life expectancy is measured in days and sometimes hours. Roll 3d6 and 1d20. Okay, I thought we don't use 20-sided dice in this game. All right, fine. I'm just gonna roll an extra 3d6. Roll 3d6 and 1d20 and multiply the two sums to see how many adventure points you have gained so far this year. Write that number down. At the end of a paragraph with a star by the number, you may spend adventure points to gain attributes. Okay, so I'm gonna, as I said, pretend it didn't say 1d20, and it's 366 altogether. So let's break out some dice. I should get some monstrous looking dice because I am a monster. These dice are kind of fiery looking. I'm not really like a fiery guy myself, but I do hang around with hellish demons, so I guess we can go with that. I like to collect these Chess X 6-sided dice. I usually anytime I see a cool looking pattern, I add it to my Amazon wish list, and then for my birthday and Christmas, people tend to get me them, wondering why I'm such a weirdo. Like, why does he want all these dice? Anyway, it's a good stocking stuffer. Anyway, 6 dice is how I'm calling it. Oh, gotta get my overhead cam going. I'll just leave it small because you can see it enough. All right. Or maybe you can't see it well enough. I don't know. Then we'll do that real quick. All right. Our total looks to be 7, 10, and another 10. So we'll say 20 adventure points. And I can spend that anytime there's a paragraph with an asterisk by the number. At the moment, you are in the barracks playing the game of mucks with some other guards, including the Zim demon who taught it to you. Sounds like a fun game. It's a gambling game, and a good chunk of your latest pay is in the pot in the center. You are due to get the next die, and a really good roll could win it all. A poor one, and more of your money goes into the pot. Suddenly, brass knuckles roll across the top of your head. Knock, 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 producing a solid and somewhat hollow sound. I'm that dumb? You look up to see Sergeant Dardarian, a bullsark, who is your immediate commander. The big red boss wants to see you. Astaroth wants to see me? You gulp. Last time you did more than glimpse him as he moved around the castle. was almost when he hired you. Why? Am I in trouble? Dardarion gives you a really evil smile. Not yet, but you will be if you don't get off the floor and come with me right now. Make your level 1 saving roll on intelligence. All right. Okay.
So if you're not smart enough,
Sorry.
you won't go. You're not. If you're not smart enough, you won't go.
Yeah, maybe I'll be like, but I gotta play my next hand of my next round of the what's the game called?
Yeah.
Mucks. Okay, what's going on here? All right, we're gonna make our roll now. Because our intelligence is 13, we need a 7 or higher, and again, doubles add and roll over. And we got doubles, a 4. See, it's fun when you do that. Now we've got this made actually, and a 7, and that becomes 11 altogether. And as I mentioned, you take adventure points accordingly. So now I have 31. Okay. If you make it, go to 9. All right, so I'm not seethingly stupid.
Okay, that's good.
Paragraph 9. The laughter of your comrades has a nasty ring in your ears as you quickly get to your feet. Dardirion has already turned away and started to walk out. With a rueful look over your shoulder at all that money, much of it yours, lying there on the floor, you follow her out of the barracks room, across the tilt yard, and into the castle proper. She avoids the main hall, puts 2 large fingers into the eyes of the statue of Belial. There is a click-click sound, and a section of wall rumbles aside, opening a dark passageway that parallels the main hall. This is a servant passage. Guards and other domestics don't spend a lot of time in the public part of the castle unless they are on duty. Dardirion goes first. You follow and twist the decoration that closes the secret door behind you. The tunnel is dim but not lightless. An occasional sunstone set into the walls provides enough light to see where you are going. These servant ways are a maze that penetrate every section of the castle. Learning your way around in them was your first real challenge as a guard. Step out through the wrong door, and you are likely to find a pendulum axe blade swinging in your direction, or some other painful way of telling you that you screwed up. Okay. Continued up here. Dardirion leads you to the nearest stairway, and up you go, 9 levels. Rats the size of sheep glare and snarl at you from corners as you go by. Sheep rats, but none of them dare to attack. Astaroth prefers the upper parts of his tower, as is befitting a great leader. After a few minutes of walking, the 2 of you stop at what looks like another section of castle stone, but this part has a gong attached to the wall. Excuse me. Give it a whack, soldier, the Bullsark orders. You smack the metal with the heel of your hand 3 times, producing a brazen clanging that would deafen a lesser person. This cacophony announces your presence to the masters of the castle. A section of the wall opposite the gong grinds open, and you find yourself entering Astaroth's office. Go to 17 to find out why you've been summoned. Hello, boss. What do you want? I left a lot of money on the table there in that game. I'm very pissed off at you. Then you learn gambling is not allowed under his watch. I can move some of my junk around here. Okay. All right, 17. You're in Astaroth's magnificent office. The big red demon with the flaming yellow eyes is sitting regally on his throne of hewn obsidian. Standing at his right hand is his little sister, Ashsara. Minion, growls the demon. He calls all his guards minion. I've got a special job for you. You start to ask what it is, but Dardarian kicks you lightly in the ankle. Take one con. Oh, God, really? I gotta take a point of damage? All right. All right. I guess my 74 constitution is now 73. Subtly reminding you that you have not been given permission to speak. The lady, snicker, snicker from both of the demons, Ashzara, has been called for a special ceremony in the old temple beyond the jungle of Jeopardy. That's how he said it. Jeopardy. On the way, she has been ordered to pick up some magical ingredients that can be found in the jungle. I want you to go along and protect her from any dangers she may encounter. It's reminding me of Grim Tina's guard. Anyway. This lout protect me? Quipped the Lyeth demonette. Ha! What he really means, minion, is that you are going along to carry things for me. I will try to protect you if anything bad comes along. It is the spider mating season, says Astaroth, and there have been reports of moon elves seen in the jungle, not to mention Egyptos trespassers. Either of those fools might going to okay, might attack us at any time. There may be some danger that minion here can help you with. Bring a pack, Ashzara tells you. There will be a lot to carry. Meet me at the jungle gates tomorrow at noon. We will leave then. She flounces out of the room. If you succeed in getting her to the temple, you will be well rewarded, perhaps even promoted, Astaroth promises you once his sister has departed. She talks tough, but she's only a young demonette, and I don't want anything too bad to happen to her. He puts a lot of emphasis on the word too, and you get the feeling that the demon would not be unhappy if she took some minor damage and had a few close calls. She needs to learn by doing or something, you know. All right, Astaroth gives you a few more directions, then dismisses you. The last thing Astaroth tells you is, if you need any weapons or equipment, just stop by the armory and check out anything you want. Bring it back and turn it in when you return. Okay. If you think you have everything you need, go back to the barracks and get some rest, 25. If you decide to go to the armory, go to 35. I guess we might as well see. We can get free stuff. You have to bring it back later, basically. If we die, it won't matter. Well, you don't have to pay money up front. That's the important thing. Although, will there be anything better than my Warhammer? I don't know. Maybe some good armor. Maybe some tools or other supplies. The armory for the castle takes up half the first floor of the basement. There is a huge selection of weapons. Sorry for that. Huge selection of weapons and armor of all types. If you have brought your own character into this adventure and did not fully equip it, this is your chance to look at the Monsters rules and choose any armor and equipment that you have both strength and dexterity enough to use. If you do not have the Monsters rules, but you still need a weapon, the armor recommends you take the Hellhammer, a special light warhammer with a blunt hammer on one side and a serrated blade on the back of the weapon's head. The Hellhammer gets 5d6 in combat. That sounds crap compared to what I have. Although Astaroth said you will have to check the equipment back in when you return, you probably won't notice if you decide to keep it for yourself. You also pick up a large backpack with some standard survival gear in it. Food, drink, small tools. All right, so I have a 15 dice plus 9 trollish warhammer. I just glanced at the weapon list in the manual, but it didn't seem like there was anything that great. I don't know. Let's take a look, though. Back at the manual. Let's see. Let's just search for weapons. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is all garbage compared to what I have. Unless I wanted to get like a bow and arrow or something. Did it say I could get armor too? I don't remember. Yeah, I need armor and weapon. All right, I might as well get some armor then, because right now all I have is uh what was it? I forgot to write it down. I think it said my skin is worth some armor or something like that. Let me check it out. Bear with me a second. Gotta find the pre-mades again. Yeah, it said I have 7 points for my rock-like skin. 7 points of armor. I guess I might as well get some armor. Okay, so I don't know. I can get anything. Might as well get the best one, right? I don't know. Chainmail shirt. Where's like the full suits and stuff? I guess they don't have that. Yeah, it's a very minimized version. Hmm. Okay. Oh, this is studded leather is apparently a full suit. You could probably get piecemeal stuff like the chainmail shirt and a Roman helmet. Or I'm just gonna get a full suit of studded leather. Keep it simple. Stud leather, because I'm a stud. That is 5 hits, so I'll just say that should. I don't see why that wouldn't stack with my skin. So essentially, I have 12 hits of armor altogether. And I don't know. Instead, I have a pack with miscellaneous tools and stuff, so I don't think you have to worry about buying specific tools like small hammer and iron spikes or whatever. All right. So let's just roll with that. And it says when you think your character is ready to go, it'll be time to get some sleep at 25. Okay, we have the star, the asterisk, which means we're allowed to spend adventure points. This is kind of a new mechanic, by the way. I always kind of just assumed you could spend them whenever you wanted to. But they're kind of, it looks like this is written so that you can only spend them when maybe when you have some downtime or something like that. So let's see if there's anything worth spending my 31 points on. Don't mind this thing in the way, but if you look at this, you can see you can spend my 31 points. And what you spend it on are upgrading your attributes. The way it works is how does it work? Sorry. It's 10 times the amount you want to upgrade to is the cost. So I don't think I can really upgrade anything. In other words, if I wanted to upgrade dexterity, which is 13, I would need to spend 140 attribute points. So I can't do anything with that. And I didn't really do anything yet except be smart enough to not disobey Astaroth. Astaroth's summoning of me. I was not that dumb. That's my accomplishment of the game so far. Let's see. Sorry, bear with me a minute. All right. Let's keep going. The night is already half gone before you get back to the barracks. The monks game ended and someone walked off with all the money. It should have been you, but easy come, easy go. Yeah. Your squad room is fairly dark. You hear a lot of snoring. You undress and roll into your bed. It creaks rather alarmingly, but doesn't collapse, like my real life bed. You think about your next assignment and wonder if you'll live through it. The jungle of Jeopardy is a dangerous place. Thinking about it, you drift off to sleep. While you are sleeping, you may spend accumulated adventure points. Yep. And it's this is another thing that they mentioned is slightly different. 10 times its current value. In Deluxe TNT is 10 times what you want to upgrade to. Maybe I'm wrong. I may be remembering wrong. I don't know. I'm just gonna move on. In the morning, you find a large backpack and fill it with the things you'll need. A week's worth of survival food based on 2 small meals a day. That's pretty much slumming it. 2 canteens, one of water and one of cheap wine. Should probably just get all water, but okay, we want to get drunk a little bit. A fire starter. I'm the fire starter. A small hatchet, a tightly folded piece of canvas, in case you need to rig a shelter for the night. The whole journey should only take a couple of hours, but it's better to be prepared. Huh. Say, it sounds like we're quite prepared if it's only supposed to be a couple of hours. I mean, I think I would probably have like no meals. But you know what? It's probably gonna, not go as I expected. Things are gonna go crazy. I'm gonna run into crazy encounters, get lost, whatever. Anyway, the overnight sleep will heal any damage you may have taken earlier in this adventure. Okay, it's kind of silly because like, what could have they made me take a damage for getting jabbed? I was about to speak when I wasn't given permission to, and now I'm healed. All right, fine, whatever. Anyway, when your character sheet is ready to go meet Ash Zara at the jungle gate. Go to 44. All right, Ash Zara, what's up? Here she is, by the way. Ash Zara. Da 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 da. "44. The jungle gate is not actually in the jungle. It is just hidden on the southern side of the mountain closest to the jungle of Jeopardy. Although you plan to get there early, you find Ash Zara is already waiting for you. She is wearing a skimpy suit of leather armor that covers her torso but leaves her arms and legs bare. That doesn't sound very good. You should have armor that protects your arms and legs. She has a weapon strapped to her back that is unlike anything you've ever seen before. It appears to be a thin, oval metal plate. That's not in the picture I'm trying to see. It shows her with a sword in that picture that we just glanced at. Thin oval metal plate with some kind of serrated chain wrapped around it. Oh, maybe that is it. I don't know. All attached to an oddly shaped metal box. You know what I'm thinking? I think this is like a remake of Grim Tina's Guard. Because in Grim Tina's Guard, it's like a similar premise. It's Grimtooth, not like a demon. Grimtooth says you have to escort his sister. I'm going to go get that and show you for a second. It's kind of funny. You know what? I have to dig through the shelf, so I'm not going to bother. But it's the same thing, and she's wielding a chainsaw on that one. I think this is supposed to be a chainsaw. I think it's like just Grim Tina's Guard redone for Monsters, sort of. And it's supposed to be that, the chainsaw is something not recognizable to me. Because it's high-tech, too high-tech. Ashtara greets you with a derisive, "Good. You didn't sleep. You didn't keep me waiting too long. You think about pointing out that you were actually early. But remember the last time you argued with someone that you got hurt. So you just say, 'I'm ready to go if you are.'" "Not quite yet," the demonette remarks. She indicates another pack is lying nearby. "Look in that and pull out the 2 gray bottles." You do so. In each one is another the size of your hand. "Give me one. You take the other and drink it all now." She takes one, uncorks it, gulps down the contents, and throws it away to smash against the castle wall. You follow suit and discover it is a milky fluid that tastes like blood and calcium. The combination is somewhat revolting, but you manage to get it all down. "What is this stuff?" you ask. "Boiled anticorn bones," she answers. "It's a universal antidote to all known poisons. The jungle is home to the venomous demon yimps. All of their weapons are poisonous." And I think the similar thing in Grim Tina, by the way, was there were these mushroomy things or something, mushroom fungus poison. I don't know, or there were goblins or red cap, something like that. All their weapons are poisonous, and we want to kill or capture at least one of them. It would be better to capture it alive, but she shrugs. "Now pick up my pack and let's go. I will tell you about the other things we need to find when we get closer to them." While you are trying to figure out how to carry 2 packs instead of 1, the nimble demon girl sets off down the path at a brisk walk. "Come on," she screeches. "I would like to reach the temple before dark." You throw her pack over your left shoulder and hold it in place with your left arm. Your own pack is on your back. As you start to walk, you notice a strange feeling in your stomach. It feels like it is boiling. You begin to feel very queasy. Make a level 2 saving roll on Constitution. Here's us, by the way, I guess. Anyway, my Constitution is extremely high, so level 2, I just have to not roll the automatic failure, which is a 2 and a 1. So let's pull up the overhead camera. And make it a little bigger. Okay. Anything but a 2 and a 1. Two and a 4. Okay. So that gives us 8 adventure points because we multiply the roll by the difficulty level of the saving roll, which takes it to 39 adventure points. All right, we pass it and we go to 2. There's actually 3 outcomes: pass, fail, and catastrophe, or fumble, whatever they call it. 2, 10, and 13. You make it go to 2. Number 2. Number 1. As you walk, you begin to feel better. After about an hour, you are feeling like your old self again. Indeed, you feel better than you ever have felt before. Roll 1d6 and add that number to your lowest attribute. Oh, cool. Let's do it. Overhead. I add a mere 2 to my lowest attribute, which is wizardry, which is now 10. Okay, it's kind of a throwaway stat for me as a non-magic-y guy, I guess. Nonetheless, it's a freebie, so I'll take it. All right. The path you are following has been dwindling away. Ashzara stops you and starts to explain. I am creating a special spell and I need 3 ingredients from the jungle. We need to be on foot to find them. It is nothing as common as drakenroot or wild bile flowers. Then what is it, you ask? Ashzara counts on her fingers. 1, we need a wild yimp, either dead or alive, but alive is better. 2, we need a grobrin heart. I guess we would kill the grobrin, and I don't think we can leave it alive if we want its heart, or we could bring it in peace in intact, and then we rip out its heart when we get there. 3, we need a talking toadstool. I know a little about the poisoned yimps and the grobrins, you tell her, but what are the talking toadstools, you ask? In the depths of this jungle, there is a kind of mushroom that. Oh yeah, so this is like Tina's garden. Remember, I was hinting at these fungus people or something. Interesting. It's like a remake. In the depths of this jungle, there is kind of a mushroom that has attained intelligence of a sort. Ashy thinks a moon elf wizard created it. That's the kind of weird stuff that elves do. These mushrooms can pull their roots out from the ground and walk around. Unlike other fungi, or fungi, if you will, that are content to live on rotting tree trunks and rich soil, the talking toadstools prefer to live directly on decomposing animal matter. They have faces and can both see and apparently talk, but they don't seem to know any humanoid languages. What language do they use? That's one of the things we want to find out about them. Sorry, they didn't skip a paragraph here, but I think that was me asking, and that was her response. All right, how big are these toadstools and what do they look like? A big one. Okay, I'm getting really confused by the quoting here. The funny thing is, in one of my proofreading things that I did for these folks is when I proofread the Alice in Weird World thing, they had paragraph like this too. When you couldn't, they weren't doing quoting right. You're supposed to like kind of skip a paragraph like they did here, but then they stopped doing it And I like gave a whole lesson on this and said you need to correct this like this. Anyway, I guess that lesson didn't stick. Okay, so I guess this is my question. Ari, how big are these toadstools? And what do they look like? And she says, a big one might come up to your belt. They are disgusting green with bright purple blotches, and they look a lot like skinny mushrooms. Back to me, doesn't sound like much of a threat. Back to her, they are poisonous, as Shara says, but the real threat comes from the giant spiders. Me say, what giant spiders? She says, the toadstools like to live in the same part of the jungle as the death head spiders that live here. I say, is that all? We can handle a few spiders. She says, I hope so, answers Shara. How shall we start, you ask? Let's go down this main trail and then take a side trail and see if we can get lost and look for traps. We want to get lost? What? And that is what you do. The two of you go into the jungle and search for traps. But do you really know what you are looking for? Make a level 2 saving roll. That's going to be hard for me. My intelligence is 13. And for a level 2 roll, you need 25 as your target number. So let's I'm doing this wrong. Okay, sorry. All right, let's look at it. Our stat here is 13, and the question is, can we roll a 12 or higher? Not too likely, but not impossible by any means, especially with the doubles added rollover rules. And we failed. We get 10 adventure points out of it. Okay, so we're too dumb to know what we're looking for. At least I'm too dumb. If you fail it, go to 28. You may have been searching for traps, but you never suspect that harmless looking log of being one until your foot brushes it and sets off a volley of poisoned darts. There are several possibilities when that happens. If you are a demon or if you are wearing a complete set of armor, I got that full set of studded leather armor. Read paragraph A below. If you are not a demon and you are not wearing a lot of armor, read paragraph B. Okay. The poison darts fly all around but do no damage. Clumsy, be more careful, snarls Ashzara. Then a thoughtful look comes over her face. This may work to our advantage, she says. The demon that comes with a scheme that involves you pretending to be dead. You make some noise, then crash to the ground while she hides in the bushes. Go to 29. Oh, she's going to ambush them while I pretend to have been killed by this trap. Oh, 29 is right here. There's Ashzara looking something upset with me. I don't know. You play dead. Well, every once in a while, you hear Ashzara mutter, come on, I haven't got all day. It's very peaceful for a while. You almost fall asleep. Then something comes to see what fell in the trap. Flip a coin. Okay. On heads go to 37. On tails go to 41. All right, I don't have a coin, but I'm just going to make it a 50-50 die roll. Obviously, that's the same thing pretty much. So we're going to go with 1 to 3 is heads. 4 to 6 is tails. So it's heads. Go to 37. A group of yimps fly in to see what fell into their trap. Yimps are sometimes mistaken for bats. Many are about the same size and general appearance. From a distance, they have bat-like wings. Yimps are a form of intelligent demon. This group have gotten out This group has gotten into the jungle. Sure, whatever, and have become independent from the other demons on Zimrala. They get along well with the Deathhead Spires and the Grobrins. Make a level 1 saving roll on Charisma. If you make it, go to 39. Okay. Alright, my Charisma is 51 because I'm big and scary. I guess that means they must see me and they're going to be intimidated by me or something because I'm a big troll that they've nabbed in their trap. if I pass the roll, which I should unless I roll a 3. So let's see what happens. Wow, we got 12. Darrow. And that becomes a 21. And that just matters. You know, we obviously we made the roll as soon as we roll a 12. But I keep rolling anyway just to know my full total so I can take that many adventure points. So that was 21. Yeah, 21. Which takes me to 71 adventure points. If you make it go to 39, which is right on this same page. Okay, apparently having high charisma, making the charisma roll was bad in this case. I don't understand. My personal presence was too strong, so I didn't look dead. I don't know. I don't get the logic, but okay, you don't look dead enough. There are times when having a high charisma is a bad thing. The imps pull out their diminutive blowguns and knives and attack you. If you're a demon, go to 12. If you are not a demon but are wearing armor, go to 20. I think it should be you make the charisma roll. You make the charisma roll to play dead successfully because charisma is about like influencing others, and whatever. Fine. All right. Well, anyway, I'm wearing armor. It seems to be a big thing about being demon or wearing armor. I don't know. But I wonder if my skin that's worth 7 armor points would count. Stu said if someone asks if you're a demon, you say yes. Yeah. All right, so I'm wearing armor and going to 20. All right, I've got a big combat coming up here. It's gonna be a lot of dice rolling, I think. 20. Your armor protects you from most of the darts, but there is a physical component to the Yimp attack that you must protect yourself from. What does that mean? Anyway, the Yimps get a total of 10d6 plus 30, adds in sheer physical attack. You can make your own combat roll to defend yourself. If you win the combat roll, then you will actually be smacking Yimps that got too close to you. I hope to be smacking them, yes. For every 5 points of hits that you generate, you will slay a Yimp, and that will be worth 10 adventure points. It will also satisfy the requirement of killing or capturing a Yimp. If you lose the combat, remember to take as many of the points of damage as you can on your armor, which you can double since you're a warrior. I thought we had no character types, and it said I can't double my. I don't know. I'll double it. I'll just do what it says. I think it said I can't double my skin, but I guess I could double the studded leather armor I have on top of that. All right. Sorry, train of thought. Right. Any points of damage in excess of armor protection can get through and reduce your con. If con goes to 0, you're dead. Unless you're a demon, in which demons get a lot of special treatment, it looks like. But the trolls regenerate too. Why? If your con goes to 0, you're dead unless you're a demon, in which case you will regenerate 1/10 of your original base con rating each paragraph. I guess demons can regenerate even if they're dead, but I can't. Every point of spite damage that you take is poison damage, greatly reduced by the potion you drank, but still reducing your dex by 3 for the remainder of the adventure. Each point of spite can reduce by dexterity by 3. Christ. Okay. If this attack kills you or reduces your dex to 0, then that's the end of the adventure. So essentially, I'm more vulnerable. I mean, dice-wise, I should own them, but every one they roll on a die is a spite point, and I have 13 dexterity, meaning 5 of those are ones, and my dexterity goes below 0, and I'm just dead apparently. They roll 10 dice. Well, hopefully I can Okay, we're just rolling one combat turn is what I think it's saying. Yeah. If you're still alive at the end of one combat turn, any surviving imps will break off combat and flee. Okay, so I guess they probably won't roll 5 ones on 10 dice. I have that going for me. Shall we get another type of die for the imps? For the imps, I will use these lovely red dice. All right, so I'll roll mine first. And let's get the overhead set up. All right, we got some big dice rolling happening now. Get ready for it. All right. So I have to roll 15 dice plus 9. How many dice are in each of these sets? I think it's only 12. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, so I need to get 3 others. Okay, I'm just going to roll it straight. I think in the last time I played Total Control, I showed a little bit of my optional rule for like how to reduce basically my house rule for reducing the number of dice that you roll. It's not an original rule because there's other people who do the same sort of thing, but in the community. I'm gonna roll all these dice and add 9 for the Warhammer, and then also add 53 for my personal ad. So I gotta get some scratch paper going here. So I roll 5 dice plus 62, 15 dice plus 62. Got my stuff. Me 15 dice plus 62. Yimps. The Yimps roll 10 dice plus 30. I'm gonna totally own them by the numbers. It's just a matter of how many spite damage do they get. And each one I kill will get me 10 adventure points. And every 5 damage I inflict will kill 1. Okay. Well, let's roll. We're gonna need some bigger hands to roll these dice. Okay, now 1 is spite in monsters instead of 6. I don't know why they changed that, but I'm gonna roll with it anyway. I don't think I need to keep track of my spite because I'm totally owning this round. That's like no way. I'm just gonna not keep track of my spite. If I'm wrong somehow, then oh well. I'll forfeit my spite damage. 10, 20. I like to count in tens. 30. 40, 49, 51. All right, so 51 plus 62 is 113, 51. Yep. And what do the Yimps roll? And again, there's like no way they can beat me that I can see. But it's a matter of how much spite do they deal that will, each of which will reduce my dexterity by 3, which sucks. The rest of the adventurers say, let's use these red dice for them. We need 10, so all but 2. And yeah, basically, let's just try to not roll 1s here. I have to roll in a very anti-1 manner. Shake the dice in a special way. Yeah, I'll do the math anyway, but yeah, really it's just going to be about how many 1s. Well, it's important to do the math so I can keep track of how many I kill because I get 10 adventure points for each one. All right, looks like no ones. Holy wow! On 10 dice, not a single one. All right, so I'm good. But let's roll the total. Add up the totals: 10, 20, 30, 40 on the dot. Plus their adds of 30 is 70, meaning I beat them by a difference of 43. And if every 5 damage kills one, that means I killed 8 of them. Did it say how many there were? Or is it like just kind of an infinite number? Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. Just how many do you kill? All right, so I got 80 adventure points out of that. And wow, yeah, I'm surprised there was not a single one. That was totally luck on my part. So I have 151 adventure points. Yeah, if I have a chance to take a break again because of an asterisk, I can spend 151 points for sure this time. Maybe I'll even increase that dexterity. Or it seems like intelligence is coming up a lot so far. Anyway, good dice rolling me. Okay, the rest of them break combat and flee. Turn to 31. I'll call it cool. We have an asterisk. That means I can spend the adventure points. We got an IH. 31. You and Ashzara clean up after the fight. Put your equipment away. Wipe your weapons. Sorry, I'm trying to get this to be stable and accurate. There we go. Wipe your weapons clean. Bandage any small injuries you may have taken. Nope. If you have taken more than half of your own starting constitution and injuries, Ashzara will reach into her pack and pull out a healing potion for you. It looks vile and smells worse, but you bravely swallow it and feel a fire starting a few minutes. Fire starting in your stomach and racing through your arteries. For a few minutes, it's like torture. I didn't drink it, so none of that applies. The Yimps may get reinforcements and come after us again, the demonette warns. Let's get going. You hike down the side trail a few miles and put the imps behind you. All right, so I'm going to spend the adventure points like I said, and I think I am going to put it into intelligence. So I'm going to spend the current value times 10, which is 13. 13 IQ, so I spend 130. And now I have 14 IQ. My IQ is 14. All right, turn to 41. Grobrins find you before you find them. Okay. Roll 2d6 doubles and roll again to see how many Grobrins find. Oh my god. Imagine if I roll a lot of doubles. Roll a 12 and then a 10. Then an 8. While they would all be individuals with different cons and combat adds, let us make things easy and give them each a monster rating of 22, worth 3d6 plus 11 combat adds each. These little fellows stand about 3 feet tall and look very much like. Excuse me. Look very much like ordinary Grobrins. Why aren't they goblins anymore? They're Grobrins. Grobrins. I have the game, The Adventure of Goblin Lake. Should we start calling it Grobrin Rake? Anyway, Grobrins, except that they have 4 legs apiece and dog-like body. Okay, that's an odd mutation they have. When they see you lying there, they rush forward. Am I lying there? I thought we followed a path. Did I go to the right paragraph? Let me just sanity check that. I'm gonna rewind the video. Bear with me a moment. Yeah, it said I was on 31. I can barely read it in this preview. It's so small. But yeah, I'd definitely say go to 41. It's on the previous page, 31. You hike down the side trail a few miles and put the imps behind you. All right, whatever. Goblins find you before you find them. So be it. All right, so where are we here? They have dog-like bodies and 4 legs each for some reason. When they see you lying there, they rush forward with their stone knives to cut you up for supper. Ash Sarah leaps out of her cover with the chain sword rattling away and attacks gleefully. These goblins are too surprised and possibly stupid to run away. This turns into a fight to the death. You'll have to fight half of the goblins in case of an odd number round down. Don't worry about Ashara. She can handle her share of them. You're going to have to win this battle on your own. Keep fighting until all your foes are dead or else too weak to mount an effective combat against you. Remember, each goblin you slay is worth 22 adventure points. Okay, so I have to fight 2d6 with doubles add and roll over. Jeez. It's a lot of goblins. Let's hope I don't roll too well with the Darrow. Doubles add and roll over. All right, let's roll these red dice. 7. Okay, at least it wasn't a 6. I thought I was kind of expecting this one to roll 3. All right, so 7 of these goblins. And they each are rolling. Ooh, this could be nasty. Heck, I'm looking at the math. I didn't even roll that crazy high for a number of them. This is going to be bad. I think. Let's roll out. Let's write out all the stats though. Okay. Grobrins. So me, I still have 15. I guess I don't have to write it again. Grobrins. There are, Jesus, 7 of them with IMAR 22. And so it's 3d6 plus 11 each, which adds up to 21d6. Multiply that to 21d6 plus 77. I think I'm screwed. That sucks because I didn't even roll that many of them. And trying to think. I have options like to go into beast mode or whatever. How does that work again? Beast mode. Let's take a look. Take a look at the manual. Beast mode. So for beast mode, I convert my 8 core attributes to a MR, so I become a monster. The humanoid con equals a monster rating. Wait, what? Oh yeah, equals mankind rating. Okay, I'm a humanoid type of monster though, so does that mean it's just my con? Well, how do you convert the 8 core? Do you just add them up, or I don't know. What about a non-humanoid? It sounds like I just turned my con. It might mean in this sentence that since it says mankind rating, it might mean just for like your human-like types. I don't know, but I am a humanoid monster, so it's kind of confusing. Anyway, I guess I don't know what to guess. If I can just turn my if it is all 8 of my attributes summed, would I be better off doing that even? I feel like maybe not. Well, maybe I would. But it's not clear that's what it means. Let's look at the example. No, they don't have an example of beast mode. Okay. Let's read this again carefully. While every monster controlled by a player needs the full set of 8 core attributes, those values can also be converted to an MR. A humanoid's con equals mankind rating MR. Calculated MR is useful for when a wild player maneuver called beast mode. When a player chooses to go berserk and release their inner animal, they will no longer use their normal stats and instead use their converted MR and attack twice every combat round. This sounds great, but like everything in reality, there is no free lunch. The first round in beast mode will cost 4 points, etc. Well, it did tell me to add up my attribute total. So I'm wondering if I should infer that's what my MR would be. Clarity, people. All right. Well, if I go with that, I'd be rolling 25 dice. Plus 100 and something, and also I get to do it twice, so I would definitely annihilate them then. I hate to feel like I'm not getting the rule correct here. Do a quick googling for it or something. I don't know. Let's see if I can find anything about it. Monsters, beast mode. And of course, I find a bunch of Gears of War stuff. Black Ops 3. Come on. I might need to search the Facebook group. Let's see if there's anything on beast mode in the group. Bear with me a minute. Why, I can't find anything about it. Nobody even mentioned it in the group beast mode. Does anybody actually play the game? All right. I don't know. I guess it's my. I guess it's probably my 8 attributes converted, and I think when they said a humanoid, they meant like the good guys, so to speak. They need to clarify that because there's. It seems like they sometimes refer to human, elf, dwarf, those kind of characters as humanoid, and yet they also refer to some of the monsters as humanoid. Like if you look at where the hell was that? Here's the humanoid monsters. So there's humanoids and humanoid monsters. I don't know. Well, I'm going to assume this is why they say you have to convert your 8 attributes. So I'm going to roll with that. But here's the thing. It seems like that's a hugely powerful thing. And how do I even handle this when I'm done with beast mode, right? It says you lose MR points until you win. Not until you win, until you basically you're unconscious or there's nobody within 20 feet, which I guess I could assume not Grim Tina, the demoness is far enough away. I don't know if I can assume that, but otherwise the game's kind of broken at that point. But when I lose the MR, maybe that just comes off the con when I turn back. That's what I'll go with. So I'm going to go with this. This is my best interpretation. It really needs an example or a better explanation. But I think my 8 attributes convert into the MR, the sum of them. But as I lose MR, and when I convert back later, when I convert back to my 8 attributes, I would take that damage to the MR off the Constitution stat. Is Marshawn Lynch in this game? Says Stu. What? I don't get it. All right, I guess I'll roll with that. But yeah, now I feel like I'm totally annihilating them, and hopefully I'm not being cheap. But that would happen. I roll 25, and I attack twice. That's insane. They really should explain this better. What does attacking twice even mean? I can probably assume that it means you would roll twice with all the adds and everything, add up the numbers, but it's way too loosely explained. Anyway. Oh, his name was Beast Mode. That's right. Yeah, I know I had heard that a lot in like something in popular culture like several years ago. Yeah, that must have been it. I remember when he was in the Super Bowl, right? I guess I forget if his team won, but I guess they probably did. Was that the one where it was like Peyton Manning's last Super Bowl? I think he was a Bronco, and the Seahawks just like mopped the floor with him, something like that. I don't follow football closely enough. But anyway, I am going to do it as I said. I think it works. And that's going to be, again, I'm going to use this attribute total. Bear with me a second. I got to put this preview away. Right, so I think it's going to be my MR is the 244. It's 244, but I'm going to lose MR every round. However, I'm going to be so powerful it shouldn't matter because I rolled twice. So, all right. And, again, it does say you have to be within... You're still in beast mode until there's nobody within 20 feet, friend or foe, and the adventure doesn't really have any handling of that. So I'm gonna assume that it's just when I beat my opponents, I can get out of beast mode. All right, so with my newfound MR, I kind of like I actually very much like the idea of alternate strategies in combat, like just do a special thing for when you're stuck, and then maybe if it's a bonus like this seems to be for me, there is a penalty to doing it. Like you get hurt while you're doing it. Totally worth it in this case for sure. I think I'm gonna one round them. Even it's pretty insane. I'm gonna be at, for all intents and purposes, kind of like a MR 488, but really it's 25 dice plus 122, and I roll that twice. Okay. So MR mean, or let's write beast mode me. MR 244. It's 25 dice plus 122. And then you do it twice. Not really multiplied by 2, but I do it twice. Okay. Do they have a prayer? I mean, really, at this point. Well, they might survive one round. Let's think about what they could roll. I mean, I'm gonna roll it out anyway, but the idea is, can I deal, or how likely is it that I deal enough damage to kill 22 of them? 7 of them with 22 each, so that would be, I'm getting tired. So what's the number? 144. I have to beat him by 144 to kill them. It seems like that's quite probable. So M says, I feel like beast mode could have a mechanism like make a level X saving roll each turn to see if you can come out of the BM rather than killing everything nearby. Then again, the game is called Monsters. Yeah. I kind of get it's the berserk mode, but I don't know. Monsters aren't known for like killing all their partners ever, so I don't know. I'm kind of taking liberties because the adventure doesn't really have a way to handle this. It doesn't say you can't use it here or else you're going to attack the demon lady or anything like that. So I just have to assume I can use it. She's off in her own fight. She's maybe 20 feet away. I don't think we could really guarantee that, but oh well. I'm just gonna roll with it. Yeah, I think I have this in one round though, but let's do the formalities, I guess. And I have to. The formalities are involving rolling a ton of dice, as always. Should I just roll it all at once? Is there any reason to separate them? I do 50 dice. Well, the reason to separate is I can't hold 50 dice in my hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'll just add all the red dice too. All right, so this is 24 and 1 white die for 25. There we go. I kind of wish I could just if I had like a lid for this, I just shake it all up like that'd be convenient. It's like one of those dice cups for Yahtzee, but anyway, we'll see if I can hold these in my hand. God, yeah, I should maybe I should implement my house rule again. I don't even remember what it was precisely though. It was something like beyond. I don't want to get into it now. Let's just roll. I'm too tired to figure out anything that involves brain power. Okay, I'm not. I like a proper roll, not things falling out of my hand. Let's start that over. Jesus Christ. I just don't have big enough hands. All right, so I have to do it in 2 rolls. I got it. All right. This seems not that great offhand, but that's fine. Yeah, it's probably pretty balanced. I just noticed all the ones, though. All right, so I'm going to have to count them out. The ones I've counted, I'll put outside the box. I don't really have enough room to shove them to the side. 10, 20, 30, 40. I have to keep track of the fight too. It's not really worth it for me. For them, I should, but what was my total? Shit. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 70, 77. So my first roll is 77 plus 122, which is it's 199, right? And roll 2. This time I will divide it into 2 rolls. I have to not knock the other dice. Let's say knock around, that's fine. We're going with. All right, cool. Oh, I didn't keep track of my spite. Oh, yes. I decided I don't need to, but I'll need to keep track of their spite. There's no way I'm losing the roll. 10, 20, 30. Blah. 40.
I think I'm gonna go.
What's that?
I think I'm gonna go.
Okay, good night, Mr. Rob Bob. Thanks for joining.
Good night.
See you tomorrow. That was 50.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
He says, bye, everybody. Bye, everybody. 60. 70. He's like, I gotta get out of here. 77. Too much dice rolling. I rolled a 77 again. Wow. Look at that. I rolled exactly the same number. Can't guarantee I didn't make an error, but still it's unlikely. Huh. All right. Geez, so my total is basically 2 shy of 400, which would make it 398. Yeah, this is why you need those kind of shortcut rules like that house rule I came up. For now, like I said, I'm just rolling it straight. It's kind of a lot of rolling. All right, so I get 21 dice plus 77, and I should keep track of their fight rolled. So let's see. Let's get the dice together. 5, 10, 15, 20, 21. I got 21 dice right here. Then we add 77. Dude says, good night, Rob Bob. We all know it's just AI. Okay, so first things first. This is kind of probably the most important thing. It's the spite. Still not bad on spite, considering the huge number of dice rolled. Only 2. So they got 2 spite. I should write this in like a chart or something, like a table, whatever. I'm just too done tonight. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 71, 77, 83. All right, so they got 83 plus 77 for their ads, and that is 160. All right, so I beat them by 228, and I took 2 spite damage. So that is, yeah, they have 144 altogether. So I beat them. I take my 2 constitution damage due to the spite damage. So I'm at 72. Oh, I actually take how much from the beast mode? 4. Let me check the manual quick. Yeah, 4 for the first round. Okay. So altogether, I took 6 damage. I'm at 68. And once again, I'm assuming I can be far enough away from the demoness and her part of the battle that I can just bow out of being in beast mode. But yeah, it definitely involves quite a judgment call because the solo doesn't really tell you how to handle that. Another way to put it, I'm cheating. All right. So back to the adventure. And what do we have here? Let's see. Which one were we at? Oh, yeah. 41 over here at the side. If you win the battle, go to 34. Oh, for each goblin you say, you get 22 adventure points. That's a good amount of adventure points. So I get 7 of them, which is again 144. 65. I have 165 adventure points. All right, let's go to paragraph 34. And I have a moment to rest again, it looks like. Now that you have won the battle, it is time to collect Grobrin hearts. Oh, yeah. How am I going to cut them out? I have a big freaking hammer as my weapon. Smash them out. You only need 1, but it never hurts to have a spare or 2. You get to carry them in your pack. If you now have both a Yimp and a Grobrin heart. Well, I just killed Yimps, but I don't know if it explicitly said you cut out their hearts. I guess it's assumed you did, or maybe I missed it. I'm going to assume I have both. And also, I have a moment to spend adventure points if I want to spend another one. Upgrade another attribute. I could do my my intelligence again. I could do dexterity. Maybe I'll do dexterity. And it'll cost me 130, and I'll bump that to 14. So now I'm at 35 adventure points. All right. Yeah, so I think I have both. I will go to 21. Let's go get ourselves a talking toadstool, Ash Sarah says with a ferocious grin. They will mostly be in the center of the jungle where it is darkest, dampest, and deadliest. What makes it so deadly, you ask? Jungle cats the size of zomzoms, enormous snakes that could swallow us whole, and worst of all, giant spiders that throng there. When Ashy and I go hunting in the jungle, we usually avoid that part of the woods. Oh, the major demon dude, like the huge demon dude who's like the ruler of that place, it avoids that area, and yet we're gonna go there. The sun has passed mid-heaven, and it is now early afternoon. But the jungle darkens rapidly as the shower leads towards the center. As the jungle gets darker, the underbrush gets thinner and the ground gets boggy. The trees here are huge. Some of them are 10 feet in diameter and they go up at least 100 feet. The branches and foliage are very thick, and at no point can you see the sky. Sarah tells you to walk carefully. There may be giant spiders in this part of the jungle. Good, make a saving roll on luck. I have crap luck, don't I? Well, I have crap for making a level 3 saving roll anyway. 17 is, I guess, not terrible, but I have to make, level 3 means 30 is the target number. So I essentially need a 13 or higher. So I need Darrow to work out. Double Z and roll over. Okay, let's give it a try. Double. Oh, I was like, oh, maybe this is a 5. Nope, it's not. 9. That's 27 adventure points at least. 9 times 3. Okay, so I failed. I guess I'm getting ambushed by spiders now. Yep, here come the giant spiders. If you fail, go to 7. Oops. In spite of your resolve to be alert, the spider attack, when it comes, takes you by surprise. You hear something, look behind you, and see a gigantic gray spider with blazing red eyes in mid-leap about to land on you. Spiders, you bellow with a bit of panic in your voice. The arachnid is bigger than you are, and it moves fast. But your weapon is in your hand, and you meet its attack head on. The spider has a monster rating of 50. That's easy. Giving it a 66 plus 25 combat adds. It's kind of weird. This, I don't know. You would think this is harder than the last. You would think this should be harder than the last fight, but it was This seems like a cakewalk compared to the last fight. Anyway, and M says, you know, you're in trouble when you say, "I need Darrow to work." For it to work out. Yeah. I mean, it's I like that there's always that hope, though. It's kind of a lot of fun. Um, Especially when you manage to get like a string of 3 doubles, and it's like, oh my god, I'm rolling something in the 40s. Let's see. Anyway, it has MR50, giving it 66 plus 25. It has natural armor with 6 points. You must fight for your life. All right. I mean, this is pretty much auto kill, right? I think. Let's just roll it out anyway, as usual. Overhead. Okay, let's see. Giant Speeder. MR50. And how much armor? 6? Where was that paragraph? 6 armor, yeah. 6 hits armor. But yeah, it's rolling 6 dice plus 25. And again, I have my, I'm not in beast mode anymore, but it's still 5 dice plus, 15 dice plus 62 is going to own. Oh, actually, I bumped my dexterity so I get extra add. So I'm now at 54 for my base combat adds. So let's not forget that. All right. Yeah, I mean, this should be total ownage. Faint faint hope is much better than no hope. I agree, Em. All right, so me and the spider. Yeah, let's roll me first as usual. 15 dice plus 63. Is there any game in the world that requires rolling such a high number of dice? More than this in Tunnel and Trolls. 3, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right. And we're going to add 63, as we said before. Boom. No spite for what it's worth. Let's roll the counted ones over here. 10. I might have knocked something. I don't care. 20. 30. 40. 50. 56. Plus 63. 119, right? 56. Yep. And they roll a meager. Let's get something. Let's get a different color for these spiders. They get the slimy looking dice. This color from Chessex is called Gemini, green, yellow, and silver. I'm actually kind of hoping in the new game that the new version of Tunnel and Trolls being put out by Rebellion, maybe they can just scale down everything so you don't need to roll quite this many dice. Anyway, here we go. I'm using slimy looking dice for the spiders. Why not? So, and again, they're rolling 6 dice plus 25. And the ones are what I have to look out for. They got 2 ones. Those are the spite damage. But the total is garbage. They got, that's 10, 15, plus 25 is 40. So, yeah, I totally annihilated them. But they did get the 2 spite damage in. So I am down to 66 Constitution. All right. If you kill it in less than 3 combat rounds, go to 19, is what the paragraph says. 19. It looks like we got a few people who are viewing. Cool. Number bumped up, I mean, to like 5. I had a really busy stream when I was doing NetHack a few days ago. It got up to 11, which is like a high number for me. We're going to 19. I rarely break the double digit barrier. All right, paragraph 19. With your foe dead, you turn to see how Ashara is doing. It seems odd that you cannot hear the roar of her chainsword or any demonic war cries from the fierce demonette. Your eyes widen in horror as you see 3 of the monsters carrying some sort of huge bag made of spider silk. Something inside the bag is struggling to get out, but to no avail. 2 of the... Come on, these guys are so weak, she can take them. Compared to the last thing we fought, whatever it was, the not the Yimps, but the Grobrins. Anyway. 2 of the spiders are carrying the sack up the sheer trunk of a giant tree, while the third is laying heavy blows with his front 2 legs on whatever is inside. You know what is inside. Somehow the spiders have captured Ashara and are carrying her off. You only see them for a few seconds before they vanish into the foliage. Come on, go night, chase them. You sit down heavily on the ground. You had one job, protect Ashara on this journey, and you have failed. Now what are you going to do? Go to 22. Can I just run after them? Ashara. I have the asterisk. Oh, am I supposed to get some adventure points for killing the spider? I guess so. It was MR 50, so that should be 50 adventure points by default, which takes me to 112. All right, and now I can spend some if I want, but let's read the paragraph. You never expected this to happen. Should you try to follow and rescue her? Yes. Should you make your way back to Astaroth's castle and tell the demon? No. Perhaps he will be able to rescue her. Should you try to get out of the jungle, desert the demon's service, and get as far away from this part of the world as possible? That might be the smartest thing to do. The first choice pits you against an unknown number of death's head spiders. The second is bound to incur the wrath of the mighty Astaroth. The third choice is the coward's way out, but it might keep you alive. If you set out to rescue Ashara, go to 3. If you return to tell Astaroth, go to 33. If you decide to run away and not tell anyone what happened here, go to 43. You know they're not going to let that one work out. It's going to be like they track you down and murder you or something. I'm going to pursue them. I'm going to rescue Ashara. Go to 3. I'm going to have to use beast mode again if there's a whole bunch of these spiders. Oh, you know what? I had the asterisk built, so let me decide if I'm going to buy any upgrades. Actually, I think I'll save. I want to keep upgrading maybe IQ and Dex, maybe luck even, but I don't have enough adventure points for that. I could upgrade speed by 1, but I don't, You have decided to rescue Ashara. This is an epic and heroic enterprise. I could do another whole mini-solo on how you do that, but I don't have the space. So we will consolidate all those adventures into a couple of saving rolls. Ken. Okay, fine. This rescue is going to depend on 2... Oh, God. Okay. All right. I guess it's less about fighting and more about making these saving rolls on attributes that I don't really have great values for. Now that I'm not talking to Rob Bob, I don't need this anymore. I'm using the mic in front of me, so I can get these sweaty headphones off of me. All right, yeah, so I don't really get to flex my muscles. I have to make intelligence and luck rolls. This is going to be bad. All right. This rescue is going to depend on 2 of your attributes. If there's any hope of success, intelligence and luck. The intelligence part deals with following clues, finding Ashara, and having a plan to deal with lots of spiders. That plan probably involves fire, perhaps even a jungle fire. Okay. The luck part of it is dealing with finding clues, getting through a maze of trees guarded by giant spiders and other beasts, and then getting away safely. Make a level 2 saving roll on intelligence to find Ashara, and a level 4 saving roll on luck to rescue her and get away successfully. If you fail either one, then you die trying. Jesus. All right. Well, one thing I have to remember is I have the I'm just remembering this now. It's possible I could have used it earlier, but I could use the chaos factor thing, right? Chaos factor means I could add 7 to any roll because 7 is my level. But you can only do it once per turn, and I assume these would be considered the same turn? Probably not really. Like my initial guess was, oh, it's one paragraph, it is one thing happening at once. But really, this is abstracting a large amount of time. Here's my big rationalization to cheat, by the way. So I don't think it would be condensed into one turn. So a turn being like a combat round, I guess. All right, so I'm gonna say I can use my chaos thing for both of them, which means add 7. Chaos factor, what do they call it? Yeah, I'm going to go with that. We're going to roll the chaos factor. I'm sticking to it. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. All right. Chaos factor activate. Okay, so if we look at ye old character sheet, we can see my intelligence is 14, and level 2 means 25 is the target, meaning 11 or up. But I'm also adding 7 to my roll. So basically it's a 4 or up by my math. I think a 3 would still be a catastrophic failure, though. Actually, I think it. Well, I don't know. If that eventuality comes up, we'll look into it. 7. Okay, that means I'm good. Given my chaos factor. Hooray! Hooray! Cheating. No, not at the rule in the book. I'm just remembering it. So I pass that, and I get my adventure points. Should be 14. Okay, now here comes the roll that might be tough, even if I have the chaos factor. Yeah, this is gonna be tough. So level 4 saving roll on. What is level 4 even? That's, by the way, the way it works for those who might know is, who might not know, is a level 1 saving roll has a target number of 20. Basically, 20 minus the attribute is what you have to roll. So if you have a 15 of luck and it says to make a level 1 saving roll on luck, 20 minus 15 is 5. You need to make a 5 or higher. And then it goes in increments of 5. Level 2 is 25 instead of 20. Level 3 is 30. Level 4 is 35. So I need 35 minus my luck of 17. I have to roll an 18. But with the chaos factor, meaning I can add the level, I only need 11 or higher. That's still not something you want to do or die. You know, you don't want your death to be a result of that. That kind of sucks. But anyway, it's possible. It could happen. And again, we have the much valued Darrow rule, double the and roll over. It comes down to this. I'm probably going to end the stream if I fail, because it's late as hell. If I succeed, I'm staying up late. Here we go. We need 11 or higher. Let's give them a kiss. Should I get the magic saving roll dice? I think I have those. These never fail me, except when they do. But these were Rob Bob's Christmas present from Santa so long. This is back when he used to believe in Santa. We were playing Tunnels and Trolls that long ago even. So these are the dice. That was not my roll. We call them our lucky saving roll dice because they're gold. They're quite shiny, so they kind of a bit glary on the camera. But we'll deal. Yeah, 11 or up. Let's roll it. Give it a good shake. I'm always convinced that the longer and harder you shake dice, the better the roll you get. 5. That's it. I'm dead. I'm unceremoniously killed by a saving roll. I don't even get a cool death message. It says, "Oh, you're just dead." Like not a paragraph to describe what happened. It's just, if you fail either one, then you die trying. But at least you took the hero's path. I leave it to you, brave gamer, to imagine and describe Ashara's rescue. Yeah, I mean, you could say that, I died trying, but well, I used the int to get to her, then luck to rescue her and get away. So I guess getting away failed. And she probably got eaten by the spiders. This whole stream died trying. It says to me, because the stream, you know what? It's good. I don't really need to be staying up till like past 1 o'clock anyway. But yeah, let me grab Grim Tina's guard really quick. It's kind of amazing how similar this is. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Bear with me a minute. that's the piece of shit. Where did we look at it? Stu says, I don't think this whole paragraph feels like a cop out. I don't have time to design this part of the game. Let's just have you roll some dice. Yeah, maybe you could say that. I mean, they could have. They didn't. I get what he was saying. Like this could be like a whole other solo because like there's probably a lot to describe. But they could have, basically cut to the chase and made it. Just write 3 or 4 paragraphs. I don't know. I accidentally also grabbed something that is kind of forbidden to talk about in the TNT community. There's this dude named Jim Shipman. There's a huge amount of drama related to that. He ran a publishing company called Outlaw Press, if you can see that at all. Kind of accidentally grabbed this along with Grim Tina's Guard from my shelf. And this guy was just stealing art from all these different artists. Just shamelessly stealing it all. And he became a huge pariah in the TNT world, as well as the whole RPG industry when he was busted. And yeah, then he actually died a few years after. So I guess nobody can hate him anymore because he's dead. But funny thing is, when I had this very adventure I'm holding, I thought it was so suspicious that this one guy publishing out of his house, basically, he had a lot of good art from different artists, like really solid paintings and stuff. And I was kind of like, that's weird. How's he getting all this? How's this? Anyway, whatever. And M says so tragic what happened with him. He started out being a real workhorse for TNT and then started stealing brazenly. Sad. That's too bad. Anyway, Grim Tina's Guard. That's what I wanted to show. Looks like I got a bunch of random stuff in here too. There used to be a TNT app, and to get it going, they were having these contests. Like, if you can find these things in the game or bugs and stuff, we'll send you a prize. I kept like winning tons of them. And they was Steve Crompton, I think, was sending me like all these prizes. I think this was one of them. I can't really see this. Let me zoom out. Grim Tina's Guard. This is the one that's exactly, not exactly, but very similar to what we just played. Grim Tooth is that's not her. That's Grim Tina. That's not him. That's Grim Tina. Grim Tooth is this guy up here. He's from the famous Grim Tooth trap books, and it's all about like his sister. You're escorting her through this dangerous jungle with these, fungus creatures and spiders and everything. It's like the same thing. And it mentions Meta Arcade because this started out as an adventure for the app that I had just mentioned. Too bad the app didn't really succeed. I don't know. One thing I noticed was they made like Naked Doom the beginner's adventure, and that, I don't know. You have to be of the right mindset to play Tunnels and Trolls. It's a weird game. You have to be okay with dying a lot, especially with Naked Doom. That's an adventure where it's like, how I play it is I have a stack of character cards ready. I just roll up a character, put them in Naked Doom. Whoops, I'm dead. Okay, next guy. And if you're lucky, you get to your 10th character and he might come out with a lot of power because it's like very high risk, high reward, high stakes gambling. So yeah, Steve Crompton would throw in these comics of his that I'm not really into. Honestly, no offense to him, just not really to my taste. He wrote these comics or illustrated them or both. I don't know. And here's a note he wrote. Mark, here is the book you won, plus a free signed copy of one of my comics. Keep playing TNT, and if you could post on the blog about getting your prize, that would be great. There was a blog for I guess Meta Arcade. Yeah, I won like a few of these prizes. I was like on top of it. They would post something like the first person to find, I don't know, 3 misspellings in the app, or I don't think they were all quality control related, but that's what keeps coming to mind. So here, this was signed by Ken St. Andre and Steve Crompton. And yeah, it's the same kind of thing. Here's the escort for Grimtooth's sister. By the way, you should see this book I have about Grimtooth's traps. I'll show you that in a second. Kind of flipping through this a little bit. You got the chainsaw and everything. Look at it. Goblins find you before the pixies do. That reminds me of the thing about saying grobrins find you before you find them or something. Yeah, they just ported this over to be more like monsters-y, I guess. I don't know. All right. Yeah, it's a shame about that Shipman dude, though. It seemed like he loved the game. It's just, what was he thinking? I don't know. He had this whole magazine called Hobbit Hole, too, that had some pretty good content. All right, I'm going to break out my master tome of Grimtooth traps real quick. All right, here we have Grimtooth's Ultimate Traps collection. This thing is massive. I'll put it in front of this camera. Bonk. So Grimtooth Trap, yeah, there were these individual books that were published, but this is like a master collection of them. And the idea was they were just traps that you could use in any fantasy RPG. You could use it in, Tunnels and Trolls, D&D, or whatever. Anything with dungeon crawling. And some of them were clever and some of them were just really evil. And the thing is, so many of them were so deadly, it was kind of more like just fun to read rather than to actually spring upon your players. And sometimes it would be like they describe the elaborate mechanics that are going on like inside the walls or the trap, but I don't know, the player doesn't see that, so it's kind of like, it's more like just fun to read than to use them, maybe. But I guess you could try using some of them. But they're also rated like how deadly they are. They give them a certain number of skulls, like 1 skull, 2 skull. Yeah, exactly. M says they're more on the evil side in the sense that they don't give any clues to be figured out. It's just like, yeah, you step on this plate and then all this elaborate stuff happens in the walls, and then basically the spikes shoot out of the walls and there's no way to avoid them. It's like, oh, okay, great. Some of them are fun to read. I guess it's more like fun to read, yeah, than anything. You could probably modify some of them too, like what I just mentioned. Maybe just give them a roll to dodge the spikes or whatever. Here's like, this is I think this artwork here was from the very first book, if I recall correctly. It shows the dude like detaching this giant diamond that's gonna get him killed, basically. Anyway, yeah, this is like the master collection. It's just kind of fun to read through once in a while. Oh, I got some other goodies in there. There's Grimtina. Grimtina the trollette. Okay. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know when I'm gonna cleave it in half. She cleave boxes of chocolates in half. There's a little board game you could play. Squid trap. You die. You go back. This is like a silly little thing. Here's a game to teach you kids the real meaning of life. Getting crushed, held back, and dying. Yeah, this ain't no candy land. Yeah, so I got the Master Tome. Got a lot of info. You know, I haven't actually read most of this. I mostly bought it and flipped through it for a few minutes and put it on a shelf. But I've read some of the original ones. I should get. It's got a lot of like letters and interviews and things. I should actually read that over. Could be fun. Here's an example: shoot and hammer trap. So what is it? This thing's on like a hinge, and you step there and you slide down. What does hammer get you? I don't get it. I guess I should actually read the text. It's got a pivot. You go down. You slide down the chute. Position within it is a hammer designed to strike characters in the forehead with considerable velocity as they slide by. Smaller kindreds might be able to avoid being bashed, but human-sized characters are in for a whopper of a headache. Yeah, I mean, you could always, say if someone has, a hard helmet on, they don't instantly die, or at least they don't take a huge amount of damage, perhaps. But yeah, some of them do give you opportunities to, survive. Most of them are kind of evil, though. The Avenging Treadmill. And what's cool is a lot of these are user submissions. I kind of always find that kind of fun when users can just, contribute. Any random person can contribute. Like what they did with the monsters in Monsters. The monsters in Monsters. Monsters. Some of the monsters are user submissions. What I'm trying to say. All right. Well, I better head to bed, and then I have to clean up this mess tomorrow morning. This is what I usually do. I'll show you my mess. After I do one of these tabletop streams, first of all, I got a bunch of crap on my desk already. But on the side that was clean, I got to clean up all this stuff. And I usually leave that for the morning because I'm like, all right, I'm already past my bedtime. I got to just wrap it up. Anyway, that was a fun little adventure into Jungle Jeopardy, although I kind of died in a sucky way. Maybe I'll give it another chance sometime soon, or we'll see. And yeah, that's it for tonight, guys. I don't know what I'm doing next week. Next Saturday, that is. For my midweek old school video gaming stream, I'm probably just going to continue NetHack again. Next week, I have a pretty good run going so far with my samurai character. And that's all. So thanks for chatting with me as usual, Eric Johnson and Stu, and to our newcomer M. At least I don't remember you, M. It's possibly your nondescript username made me forget you, and I apologize if you have chatted before. But anyway, yeah, thanks again for joining, and I'll see you next time. Oh, he's Martin. Okay, hello, Martin. Nice to meet you, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.